I'm Lisa Haysha. Welcome to the Legacy Interviews. Today my guest is Mark, and Mark is an incredible human being, and he owns a workout gym, Pulse Studios, right down the street from me.
Right around the corner.
And I stumbled upon him because I kept passing it going, God, I've got to get into shape. This is ridiculous. You know, when you have those moments of travel and you're eating bread and chocolate and coffee and it's like, help me, Mark, I can't do it. And he was so amazing. This is Mark Harari, who is so well known in this field. He works with stars, celebrities, people in the know, and his studio is crowded every single class, every single day. And I went in there and started taking his classes, and I thought, oh, this isn't working for me because my schedule, I have a newborn baby and this and that. And he said, I'll come to your house. He was just so accommodating. My goal is to help people get in shape. How can I be of service to you? And he let me sometimes go there, sometimes early in the morning, sometimes midday, come to my house, whatever, let's go outside and do things, whatever I needed, he said, we'll do it. And I loved that about him. And he got me in great shape. And then I traveled again, but that's a whole nother story. This is about Mark.
We'll get there. We'll get to that part too.
Yeah. So it's about, for me, it's been about detox, retox a little bit, but he's here to help share how you can get into shape, what's good for you, what's not, and about his legacy. And he has so much information. I can't wait to get into it. So enter Mark.
Great.
Hi.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Wow. I got a lot to live up to now.
Yeah. Well,
all right, good.
You're the dude. You're the guy. I am so impressed with you and what you've accomplished. I met you when you just opened Pulse recently, I think a year or two in.
Yeah.
And now it's just booming.
It's been great. We opened Pulse up in February of 2007, and so it's been a heck of a journey ever since. And yeah, so it's funny, when I walked in the door, I hadn't seen you in a little while, and so it was kind of going through my head, how long has it actually been? And I know it's been a little bit of time with all your travels and everything going on, so huge congratulations on everything that you have going on, because that's a huge journey too. But yeah, the studio has been great, and I couldn't be more thankful for what we're doing and where we're at, and the lives that we've impacted and helped change. And it's exciting just hearing people come up. I had one woman today who's actually been through a lot of things with actually some pretty serious illnesses that she didn't even know about until she hurt her shoulder or knee or something like that a little while back, and she went to see a doctor. And while she was at the doctor, they were just doing a general checkup, and it turns out they found something in her brain. And so she and I had an interesting connection from there, because she called me up and basically said, I would never have known about this had I not gone to the doctor for my shoulder. And so she and I developed a very good relationship from there. But she actually came up to me today and said that she's down 11 pounds. She just took some new headshots for a project she's working on, and she was just bouncing off the walls. And that's what I love about getting to do what I do. I won't say doing what I do, but getting to do what I do. It's really been inspiring for me.
You have so many fans, I can't tell you. So many people are moving into this area. And when I talk to them and we talk about working out, I go to Pulse. I go to Pulse. I'm going, everyone goes to Pulse. There's so much competition in this area. Yes. And they always say they try other places, but the energy of Pulse, because of Mark Harari. They said the people you hire, I guess all your trainers, everyone said it's like a family there, which I felt too. But it's been consistent because I haven't been there for a couple of years, but that's your reputation. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to bring you here, because that is so hard when you have a business that long. You know, everyone gets moody, and you know, people have their good days and bad days, but it seems like you're able to compartmentalize and really just go there and be there for the people, and you hire trainers that are committed, not just someone who wants a job.
Exactly. You nailed everything you just said. It was right on, and everything that you said is so important to me. And for me, it's about the relationships that you build with the people that come in the door, because those are the people that are going to decide whether you are successful in your business or not. It's Los Angeles. Like you said, there's a fitness studio or 3 on every corner. And even since we opened up 8 years ago, the amount of competition that's increased in this area and just throughout the city, it's mind-blowing. If I were going to start over right now, I don't know that I would open up another fitness studio in Los Angeles. As a sole proprietor and starting up something. There's so much competition now. It's
crazy. I get so much mail saying, come to my studio, free class this, free class. So it's constantly,
right.
Even if you're working out at one place, let me detour over here and maybe
It's difficult.
Yes.
And now you throw in the added dimension of the things like Groupon and Living Social. And now it's hard to maintain that customer loyalty because instead of buying a series of classes or a membership somewhere, now you know if you wait 48 hours, something's going to pop up on Groupon and it's like, ooh, I haven't heard of that place, but I can go there for 10 classes for $20. What a great deal. And so maintaining the customer loyalty is always been very important to me, but more so than ever now because of there's so many other options and inexpensive and easy ways to access those places. It's being thrown in front of you on a daily basis. So it's really building the relationship with the client and letting them know, like, we're not a big box gym. I won't throw out any names, but the big studios that are corporate and have locations all over the world and things like that. Not a shot at them. Their business model is fantastic for what they do. But what we do is different. We're considered, I guess, a boutique studio. It's a small facility. It's about 3,000 square feet. And really what we do is cater to the need of the client. And we can teach our classes in a little bit different way than what they can do in the big box gyms just because we're not corporate. They're very hands-off in the corporate setting. They've got the trainers up on a stage with a microphone. There could be 80 people down there. It's very impersonal. I don't like that. For me, training, whether it's a personal training one-on-one or group training, it's a very personal thing. I think getting down and actually touching and letting the client know, like, I'm here to help you. I'm not here to yell orders at you and tell you what to do. I'm here to help you make changes and to help you reach your goals. And it's so important to me that the client understands that from moment one when they walk in the door. We just went through a new round of hiring some new front desk staff. And what I tried to tell every person that walked in the door for the interview is, look, you're not just coming in for a front desk position or a customer service position or something like that. I don't want you to ever feel like you're unimportant. I said, you're number one. Whether a person walks in the door off the street or whether they call in to get some information, you're the first voice or the first face or whatever it is that they see of Pulse Fitness Studio. And their idea of what the studio is starts right then. Before they ever get to me or any of the other awesome trainers that we have, they're going to decide whether they even want to spend their money there and take a class there because of the person that they're interacting with from moment number one. So I don't want somebody that's just going to be, tapping on their phone and, hey, how you doing? Go and sign in over there. No, it needs to be a connection. You need to know their name. You need to know their husband or their wife's name. Where do their kids go to school? What are they doing for winter break? You need to develop that relationship and you need to let people know. Don't make them feel like we care. You need to actually care.
Yeah.
There's a big difference.
Big difference.
Uh-huh. And so I couldn't be more thankful that the feedback that you've gotten, it makes me so happy because that's what is really, really important to me. At the end of the day, you can go lift weights at a number of places, but why do you keep coming back? Why are you willing to spend your discretionary income at Pulse Fitness Studio versus any other place in the city? I want it to be because they understand that we really are there for them and we really do care and we're passionate about what we do. That's another big thing for me.
You even allowed me to bring my daughter a couple of times.
Absolutely.
No other gym would do that. There are no kids allowed. Even in hotels, no kids allowed. Yeah. And you have a facility, you have a TV with, let's put on a kids show for her. It's like, really? It's not that I'm telling everyone bring your kid to a workout, but on those few exceptions, it was like, oh, let's accommodate. Our goal is to help you reach, whatever my goal was at that time. So let's make it work, just like you're talking about. And your front desk person was, lovely every time. So that's very important because that is something that, I didn't have a class and she goes, it's full. And then I said, oh, I know Mark. And she said, hang on, I could get you in. Right away, it was like, what can I do for you? And it was just like, oh, so nice. It wasn't arrogance. You know how you get it to any shop in LA, everyone's arrogant and I'm from LA and look at how awesome I am.
Right.
It was all about the client, which I went, oh, Mark did good here.
Yeah, and it should be. It should never be a thing where, sorry, we can't do that.
Yeah.
No, there's a way to do
There's
it.
There's always a way.
And we may have to move some things around. I may have to say, we only have a certain amount of space in each class because we've only got, we have room for 28 people. We have 14 treadmills and then space on the floor for 14 people. And basically it's the interval training class that you bounce back and forth and a little bit of running, a little bit of weightlifting, then we go back and forth. So if we have more than 28, I may not be able to accommodate you and get you in treadmill, but I would at least say, hey, you know what, Lisa, we're full. I can't get you a treadmill, but I can pull in a spin bike for you. Or if you don't mind doing double floor and instead of doing the treadmill, you just do the floor series twice, We'll get you into the
Which
class.
is fine. You're
Yeah.
still moving your body.
Yes. It's great, actually, as an alternative once in a while. It challenges your body in a different way. So there's always a way to get it done. I know we've talked about this before, I think. Again, we have 28 spaces in the class, and there was a particular day on a Thanksgiving day where we had 46 people show up. And my first thought is, we can't do this. And the second thought is, yeah, we can. We just got to think a little bit creatively, and I got to let everybody in the class know, like, look, it's a holiday. It's going to be a little bit chaotic, but if you'll work with me, we'll make it fun. And sure enough, it worked out fine. Instead of doing treadmill and floor for 30 minutes and 30 minutes, everybody got 20 minutes on the treadmill. So we rotated in groups of 3. So that was 42 people. And then the other 4 people, we kind of subbed them in and got them pulled in spin bikes from the other room. So we ended up running a class of 46 people. And it was a 3-ring circus. And my counts were off and my numbers were off. But you know what? Everybody was willing to kind of play along in effort to make sure everybody got the class that they came there for.
So again, community.
It is. It is a huge community. And it's great. And every once in a while, you're going to get those, you know, the 1 or 2%. Yeah, the 1 or 2% that they're territorial, or they want things a certain way, and it's like, oh gosh, okay, you got to deal with it. And it doesn't matter what business it is, whether it's Pulse Fitness Studio or whether it's Walmart or what. There's going to be a series of people that come in and they're very particular about things, or they're very opinionated about things. Okay, my door is always open, and I'm always willing to listen, and I'll do the best I can. But you know what? The other 98% of the people that come here and leave happy and feeling better, those are the people that I'm excited about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how would you advise someone else who wants to start their own business or do something special? They go, I want this to be my legacy, but they don't know how to put it together, or fear gets in the way. Like, how do you say, I'm going to drop this kind of money, find a location, and hire people and be kind of a hostage to your work for a while, where you can't travel, you can't do this because it's a 24/7 endeavor.
Yeah,
but this is what you want. So how do you develop those muscles to do it and not quit, or just to get it started, everything?
I think the first thing you need to do is within yourself be committed to what you're going to do.
How do you do that?
You have to, number one, think about what else is there that I could do that I would be interested in. What else is there that I could do with my life that really holds some excitement and some passion for me? And if you find something else that's out there that you're like, you know what, I could actually work for somebody else at such and such place, and I could be happy over there. Or I could just be a trainer over at whatever studio and just get my check, and that way I can still travel, I can take my vacation time off, and I'd be okay. Do it. Because running a business is a lot of stress. At the same time, it's also very rewarding. But
So what kind of qualities does a person need to run their own business that you come into? Like, what would you tell yourself before you started this business today? What advice would you give you?
Sleep more. Does that count?
You and Oprah.
Huffington
Post.
It's this Pulse Fitness Studio. It's an interesting monster because it's not a Monday through Friday 8 to 5 job. It's 7 days a week. We open up at 5 a.m. We usually shut down somewhere around 9 p.m. And we're 365 a year. We work on Thanksgiving, on Christmas, on New Year's. We've only been closed one day in the 8 years that we've been open, and that was when Christmas fell on a Sunday. I kind of thought.
Isn't that most businesses to a certain degree? Even if you don't have clients all day, you're still working because there's the overload over the weekend, or nighttime paperwork, because you're doing everything.
The difference is, at least you can close the doors and lock them and not answer phone calls because people don't expect you to be there. With a 365-day-a-year business, it's hard to find that downtime where you can shut the doors, go in, get some paperwork done, because there's constantly people coming in. So it's finding the time to make it all work. It's tough. It's also exhilarating.
So how do you do it? What advice would you give your younger self?
Surround yourself with people that are smarter than you. Surround yourself with people that are better than you in the certain areas that you're not great at. For me, I love training. That's my passion. I love going in. I like turning on the music. I like working with my clients. I like developing the relationships, and I like helping them meet their goals however we have to do it. For some people, it's more cardio. For some people, it's more strength training. Whatever your goals are, we can do it, and we define that, and we make a plan, and we go for it. That's what I love, and that's what I get excited about. Whenever I walk into my class, whatever's going on in my life, I've been through a broken off engagement. I've been through a grandfather passing away. I'm trying to think what other big events have been going on since I opened the studio. But the thing is, you walk in the door and it doesn't matter about that stuff at that time. For that hour, my time is theirs, and my energy has to be high, and my emotion has to be positive because they feed off me. And I want to get back to this in a little bit, but they don't realize how much I feed off them as well. And we'll talk about that more in a little bit. But so what I'm not great at is order and structure. If you walk into my office, it's a mess. It's not that I'm embarrassed by it, but yeah, it's not what I want it to be. So I need to find somebody who that's their strong point.
Who's great at organizing.
Yeah, I need to find some trainers to teach, but I also need to find a manager that's great at keeping me in line and helping me with my scheduling, the bills, the day-to-day stuff, the managerial stuff, I guess I call it, for lack of a better term.
Yes.
That I don't want to do, but you have to. You can't run a business without taking care of all that. The door's not going to stay open. The lights aren't going to stay on if you don't pay the bills. But there's nothing less exciting to me than sitting down at the desk for 2 or 3 hours every week and just going through emails and I'm not talking about the fun emails. I mean the paperwork emails. Yeah, they're doing the bills and the this and the that and the log into this. Well, my login's not working now. I got to change it. It's like, oh my gosh. So having somebody that can do the things that I don't A, like to do, and also B, don't want to do because I'm not great at it, I need to find that person. And it took me a little while to find. I didn't have the right person at the beginning. I had somebody who was really phenomenal with customer service, but the business side of things, the business skill set wasn't what I needed to be for me to move the studio forward. And I didn't know that until I did find the right person. And it was really interesting because the next person that came in, she was a step ahead. She wasn't a trainer. She was a good business person, and she was a step ahead of the game. So when I came in and I would say, hey, I forgot, we got to shoot out that email. I meant to do it yesterday, but we need to get it out today. She would look at me and go, I did that yesterday. Awesome. And that allows me to focus on and do what I want to do and what I feel like I'm good at, and that's the training part.
So delegating.
Delegating.
Finding
there it is.
The key people and people who love to do it. She loves maybe managing systems. So let her do that so you could focus on training well.
Exactly.
So you find people who actually like that job, also not just doing it because it's a job.
Right. And I think the hardest part of that is the delegating is actually not that tough because I don't feel like I'm a controlling person. I'm great letting that part go. As long as it's the right person to do it and I know it's going to get done and I don't have to double check it. The hard part is figuring out what it is that you are not good at and where you do need help. So again, I don't feel like I'm a controlling person, but I also don't want to admit to myself, gosh, I'm not very good at doing that stuff. I want to be good. I'm the business owner. I have to be good at that stuff. No, I don't. I have to find somebody who is good at that stuff. And that'll make me...
That's genius because so many people feel like I have to know every single job and do it well, then I could delegate. You don't. You have to just know what needs to be done.
Right.
And have an idea about it, and then you could delegate.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you spend all your time doing that, you're not going to be the best trainer anymore.
Exactly.
You're going to be exhausted to be there for customers and clients.
And that's where it was breaking me down, is the level of exhaustion, because I was up early teaching classes. I was there until late in the evening teaching classes and training clients in the middle. Then trying to do all the business stuff in between, and I got to a point where I was like, something has to give. If I give up my clients, I start losing income, which I need for the studio because we're starting up and blah, blah, blah. So that's where the admission to myself had to be, I need to find somebody to do the stuff that I'm not very good at so I can focus on what I am good at, and that will in turn make the studio run more efficiently. And that's what it's all about.
Can you share an obstacle you've had and how you overcame it in starting your business?
Yeah, I mean, one of them, one of the things that I had to learn is that not everybody's going to be completely upfront with you, and you're going to learn things as you go. I had an issue with my landlord of the studio, the property owner at the studio. I'd never done a lease before, a business lease. So I didn't really know what to look for. I had an attorney kind of look it over, but basically he kind of looked it over and said, yeah, this looks good. You may want to ask for this. You may want to do that. A few months into the studio, about 3 months into the studio opening up, the air conditioning broke. I can't run fitness classes without an air conditioning. And this was in March. We opened up for business in February. And so actually it was just about a month into classes, month and a half into classes. We had been in construction for about 4 months. Air conditioning broke. I called up the landlord and said, hey, I need someone to fix the air conditioning. She said, you're responsible for that. I said, what do you mean I'm responsible for that? She says, well, in your lease, that's tenant responsibility. I said, the unit's 20 years old. Like, I called somebody out to look at it. Why am I responsible for this? I've only been open for a month. And she said, well, by your lease terms, you're responsible for fixing that. And so I thought, okay, well, A, I could battle it out in court with her, but what am I going to do about my clients? My clients are not going to continue coming if I don't have air conditioning. Right. B, replacing the air conditioning unit was going to cost me about $8,000. What do you do? It's something that
money. Right.
It is, especially at the very beginning. And it's something I wasn't planning on, and she wasn't going to budge on it. It's like, this is what it is. What do you want to do?
She wouldn't even compromise and pay half?
I didn't have time to figure that out because all I know is my clients are starting to talk to each other. The air doesn't work there. It's like, I can't have that. I can't have that feedback at the very beginning. So I have to call a guy out. I have to figure out how to make it work, and I have to pay for it. And then once it gets done, then I can kind of backtrack and then go to battle with her. But that needs to happen behind the scenes where the clients don't ever see it. So it was a financial hit. It was a huge time waster for me. Like, I just didn't have the time to be devoting to fixing air conditioning unit that was 20 years old before I got there. But the bottom line of it was I needed to figure out how to overcome an obstacle without letting the clients know, because it's not their problem. All they need to know is they have a great place to come work out. So it's happy face, happy face, happy face. Class ends, I'm on the phone screaming at people. But
interesting, yeah. But you have to do it.
Right, and you don't have a choice.
But you don't have to show your clients that, but you have to make a decision. So what you're saying is just make a decision.
You have to make the decision.
Instead of sitting in the overthinking.
Right. You have to pull the trigger.
Yes. And then think about it afterwards.
And then if you have to backtrack and then like I said, go to battle with her later, and it turned out after I did that, because again, you got to do what's best for the client at that point. Otherwise, the business is going to fail. Or at least it's going to take a hit for a little while. And at the very beginning of a brand new business, you don't want to be taking hits, especially when you're ramping up and things are going really well. So you bite it, you put in the new air conditioning unit, and then I go back and kind of fine-tooth comb with the lease, and sure enough, there's a couple lease points in there that it says basically I can amortize the payments over a 12-year period. Okay, well now we got something. She didn't tell me that part though. So again, it's I guess what this comes back to is problem solving. You've got to do what's best for the client in the moment, because otherwise the client, if one person's not happy, they're going to tell 9 people, and all of a sudden you got those 9 people telling 9 more people. Next thing you know, you got 50, 60 people talking about, yeah, Pulse doesn't have air conditioning, let's not go there anymore. Ooh, can't let that happen. So you gotta make a decision, you gotta take care of the problem, and then you can move forward from there.
Yeah, that's a great leader. That's what a leader does.
You have to.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. What about weight? Let's shift to losing weight.
Yeah.
Because we don't have that much time here. I want to get everything in.
Let's do it.
So that's great business advice. So now, and great leadership advice. So weight. So many people fluctuate. That 10 pounds or those 20 pounds. Sometimes I just went away for 3 months because I moved to Spain. Here for a short time going back. But in that 3 months, one of my best friends put on 30 pounds. Like, what?
Yeah.
What? Because he was just working out, eating well, and just took 6 months to get in tip-top shape. Then what happened?
It's terrifying, right?
30 pounds.
Yeah.
30, not 5, not 30.
30.
I'm like, 30, that took a lot of effort. How do you do?
So it's a lot of effort and also non-effort, but yes.
A lot of effort to put on 30 pounds. It's like,
the body just doesn't add 30 pounds
really
on.
not work, not move, you know? And he just said, I worked hard at it. You know, my wife bakes a lot, and I ate at least a pie a day and half of a cake, and I stayed home more and was with the kids at their events.
Without the 30 pounds, that sounds phenomenal.
Yes.
kind of like that lifestyle, except for the 30 pounds part.
Like, wow, okay.
The biggest thing with weight is consistency.
Okay.
And what probably happened is when this person got off track or started traveling and went to Spain for 2 months or whatever.
Oh no, that was me.
You went to Spain.
He was here.
He was here.
He just finished his thing. So I don't need the trainer anymore, and I don't need this particular diet anymore. I reached my goal. Then he went back to
what he was doing before.
Not intentionally, just nerves. He said he's been nervous. He found he had a financial hit, and he got figuring out things. So comfort food.
How long was he on the diet for? Do you know?
About 6 months.
Okay, there you go. So he was probably fairly well regimented for about 6 months, focused in on a goal of what he wanted to do, and he was doing it. And then he got off track.
He reached his goal.
He reached
and
his
then
goal.
Said, no, I could stop. I could,
Yeah,
maintain.
You can't stop.
Let's maintain.
Okay, here's number one. I tell people this all the time. Temporary changes equal temporary results. So I hate the idea of a quote-unquote diet, because a diet typically means, in the layman's terms, a diet kind of means like, okay, well, I'm going to do something for a week, or I'm going to do something for 2 weeks, or 6 months in this case.
I have this event, let me work out, let me look good, and now that's done.
Right.
Give me
Temporary changes,
yeah.
you'll get the temporary results from those changes, but what happens when you just go back to what you were doing before? Your body's going to go back to doing what it did before, because that's where it's comfortable. So there's a difference between doing a diet and a lifestyle change. Now, you can also do a combination of both, where a diet, and this is the way it should work, in my personal belief, a diet, quote unquote, again, I don't like the word, but a diet should lead into a lifestyle change. So if you're doing something for a temporary period of time, if you're thinking, okay, it's time. I've got my 20-year reunion in 2 months. I need to make some changes. Okay, so maybe you hit it hard. You got to do it in a healthy way, and we can talk about that in a minute too, but maybe you hit it hard and you go a little bit extreme for those 2 months. You really nail it. You drop the 20 pounds. You can't go back to what you were doing before, because that's why you became 20 pounds overweight in the first place. You make modifications. You have to find a middle ground between what you were doing before and what that diet did for your body.
But how do you stick to it when you're in the moment of, I'm stressed and all the kids are driving me crazy and I just lost my job and there's a delicious churro with chocolate to dip it in.
Churros, what you came up with?
Spain, that's the big thing, is churros dipped in thick chocolate. I'm like, what, are you people nuts? It's like people eat that every day for like breakfast. It's like every table. I'm like, I can't do that. Where's my green juice? And
yeah.
Finally, I felt, when in Rome. So I did that a couple of times. But yeah, it's insane. But this is what people do every day. So that's what he said. He said just the overwhelmed. He's got 3 kids. He's got a wife that bakes a lot and stress. He lost money and he's just thinking and eating.
There's one word for it.
What?
Balance. The one word is balance. It doesn't mean you can't ever eat that stuff again, but you can't eat that stuff constantly.
But how do you stop? He said he couldn't stop. His brain said, what are you doing? Then he said, bye-bye, brain.
That's mental control.
So how do you get mental control?
That's self-control. You need a plan. So you can't just decide,
I agree with that, and it has to be written down or something.
That's what it is.
Yes, it's just was in his head. I was dieting, now I'm not.
Yep.
And
I'm working on a workout plan and diet plan right now. It's a 28-day plan, and I'll show you some of the results later. But
I want one for Spain.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. It's a 28-day plan, and it's all written out. And one of the chapters of I don't want to call it a book, because it's more like a workbook, really. I don't like the idea of a book with a workout plan, because I don't want to read 300 pages just to find out what the workout plan should be. I just want to do it. So the workout book that I'm putting together, the workbook that I'm putting together, it's going to be like 40 pages, about 20 pages of text and information. Not a whole lot, just enough to understand what we're going to do. Then, damn it, I want you to do it.
Is it something
I don't
you
want
could
you
do
to
at
read
home
for 3 months
that
and then decide
you
you
don't need to
want
go to a gym?
This one is going to be more where you are going to need some equipment to do it, but it's all equipment that even if you have a gym in your apartment complex, or if you go to one of, again, the big box gyms, corporate gyms, it's all going to be very simple things. It's not going to be a bunch of moves that I've made up or anything like that. It's going to be, it's like chest press. It's shoulder press with dumbbells and things like that. Very basic movements. But there's a formula to it. Each day is going to be a different list of activities, and there's going to be a space where you can write in the weight that you lifted and the reps that you did, because I want you to see your progression as you go along. So again, it's going to be more of a workbook sort of thing than it is a reading book.
Really keeping yourself accountable, and when you write it down and see it, you're motivated to not have to write, I didn't do it that day.
Exactly.
Yes.
And in one of the chapters, again, the chapters are 3 or 4 pages. I'm trying to keep the informational part of it, the text part of it, to a minimum, because I really want it to be more of an active thing. But what I want people to understand is that it's a roadmap. And what I mean by that is, if you flew to, I've never been to Minneapolis. I don't know why that popped into my head, but that's what we're going to use.
Okay.
So Minneapolis. If I fly to Minneapolis, I would not just go rent a car and start driving aimlessly, right? You just don't. You would have a roadmap to get you where you want to go. Now we got GPS, so you can think about this workout plan as your GPS. So again, don't go into the gym and just think, I don't know what I'm going to do today, and start looking around and think, well, I'll do 10 of these, or I'll do 8 of these, because that sounds like a good number. That doesn't matter. You need to have a roadmap of what you're going to do that day, and then you got to hold yourself accountable to achieve what the map tells you to. Same thing if you're driving around. If you're supposed to get to State Street and you're at Avenue 3, you don't just stop and go, this is good enough. No, you keep driving until you get to State Street. You follow the directions till you get there. Same thing here. You have a start and you have a finish, and you have objectives and goals that you have to meet on a daily basis in between. And you work until you meet them. You work until you meet them. You work until you meet them. And that's where you start seeing the changes in your body. It's all spelled out for you from start to finish. And it's the same thing with the diet. I don't give you a certain specific thing that you should eat every single day, but I give you an idea of, proteins at this time with vegetables and this and that. But certain times, the body's a wonderfully intelligent machine. And if you nourish it correctly, you can manipulate it to do whatever you want it to do. And if that's gain 30 pounds, you can manipulate it to do that. If that's lose 30 pounds, if that's to take the weight that you have and disperse it differently. That's with the workout plan and the pictures I'll show you later. In 28 days, my body fat percentage changed significantly, but my weight, if you looked at the pictures, you would think, oh, he must have lost 15 pounds.
Okay, that's another great point you brought up, the body fat compared to the scale.
So, okay.
How do you lose body fat compared to just weight and muscle?
Let's talk about the word weight. Number one, the word weight doesn't tell you anything. The word weight, it doesn't tell you whether it's bone mass, it doesn't tell you whether it's fat or it's muscle or it's water. The word weight just encompasses what that number is on the scale. That number doesn't matter. You don't know what your body composition is unless you actually go do a body composition test, a body fat testing, which there's several different ways to do that. There's the little pinch test, not very accurate. If you're really going to do it, do the hydrostatic.
What's obese for fat?
It's different. It's different for men. It's different for women. It's different. Yeah, it depends on your height, your weight. It changes too. And there's some people that say, well, if your body fat percentage is 30% above what you're supposed to be, then you're obese. Well, okay, but you can't go by weight to tell somebody that they're obese, because I'm about 5'9.5", 5'10", and I weigh about 185 pounds. My average weight, quote unquote, should probably be somewhere around 165. But my body carries more muscle than
the average
average. You're going by the word average, and that's just taking what a doctor says this is what it should be. So that doesn't take into account body type or anything like that. So the numbers, while they're important, you have to take more into account than just looking at a scale and saying, oh, I gained 3 pounds yesterday. You probably didn't gain 3 pounds yesterday. You probably took in more water, possibly more sodium, and you're retaining more water. Perhaps you even lifted heavy weights yesterday, and so your body is retaining blood and water in those muscles while it's going through repair and recovery. Over the next 18, 24, 36 hours, your body's going to flush through that. Your body's going to also start eating up excess body fat to use as energy. You're going to be stripping body fat. You're going to be building lean muscle. I know I'm going through a lot of things very quickly, and not all of this happens overnight. It takes months and months to happen. But that is the process that your body goes through. And so your body will transition from heavy to strong, not from fat to skinny. If you're lifting weights and you're allowing your body to change, if you're nourishing your body correctly, giving it the proper protein and the nutrients, your body will start to build lean muscle. Again, not bulk. Don't get that confused with mass and bulk. Lean muscle. And when your body's building lean muscle, it starts using more body fat. It starts burning more body fat to maintain the lean muscle.
Yeah, that's what you were doing when I was working out with you. And
Exactly.
I thought, I don't want to lift this. I don't want to get the bulk. And you're like, you won't.
Right. Another one of the things that I always try to tell people is the only thing that you can lift that's going to make you bulky is your fork. You can't.
I love that.
There's no weight
so
that you can lift that's going to make you bulky.
Yeah, you're not going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger if you're doing 12 pounds. It's like, no, I don't want to look like that.
Well, I have so many women that come into class and they think, I can't lift a 5-pound weight or my arms get big. Okay, let's take this back a step. The first thing I do is I go over and I pick up their purse. The average purse weighs 7 to 12 pounds. So
mine certainly does.
Yeah. You carry that thing around all day. So that would make you bulky by what you're telling me. It doesn't. Number two, do you have kids? I know you do. So
carrying the kid is,
Right.
yeah,
How heavy is she
20,
now?
25 pounds.
Bingo.
Yeah.
20, 25. I mean, even 8 pounds or even, even 20 pounds, even 30 pounds. If you lift your kids up and you pick them up and move them around, you're playing with them. By what you're telling me, you should be huge by doing that. But that's not how it works. That's not how your body works. Your body doesn't get big, quote unquote. I know I say that a lot, but it is. Your body doesn't get big or massive or bulky or whatever by lifting weights. Your body gets big by what you put into it. If you increase your protein and caloric and fat intakes and carbohydrate intakes, you can add mass to your body, but man, you got to really try. I mean, it takes a long time to build muscle. It doesn't happen overnight. In that, I've got a lot of people that will say, well, if I take a spinning class today, my legs are going to be bulky tomorrow. No, your legs are going to be swollen tomorrow. The muscles are going to be swollen because they're retaining blood and water like we talked about before, because they're going through muscle recovery. In about, again, 24 hours, all of a sudden, magically, that bulk's going to be gone. It's not bulk. It's just your body going through a recovery process. And I tell people all the time, like, well, but my body's different. Okay. Sweetie, if your body's different, I'm going to get you on Oprah because nobody's body works that way, and you're a phenomenon. So we're gonna get you out there. And we're gonna make you.
That's great.
That's
Everyone
just not
thinks
how the
they're
body.
different because it's been so hard for me. My body doesn't lose weight, or my body holds on to fat, or I just gain weight easier than the next guy.
Yeah.
And
you'll feel different.
Yeah.
If I do a heavy leg workout tomorrow, my pants will feel different. Like I will feel it more in my quads and my hamstrings. Like my jeans will feel a little bit tighter. That doesn't mean my legs got bigger overnight.
Right.
Could you imagine how big people would be if that's the way it worked?
Exactly.
You wouldn't be able to fit through a doorway. If that's how the body worked, you wouldn't be able to fit through a doorway or sit in a car. That's just not how it works. I get the mentality of it, but now you got to think logically.
Yes. So another question. We're running out of time.
Okay.
So this one,
I know I ran
brevity. No. It's great stuff. And then a final question, but nutrition.
Yes.
So if you want to build muscle, do you have to have protein?
Yes.
Can vegetarians build muscle?
Yes, but you can also get protein from vegetarian sources.
Yes,
So,
avocado, kale, almonds, whey protein.
You get into soy.
But
you
I've
get
been
into
told
things like
by so many trainers or people in that field that doesn't count. It has to be a meat source if you really want to get muscle. What's true and what's false in that statement?
Well, it's okay. I will say it's more difficult to gain muscle if you're a vegetarian. Is it impossible? Absolutely not. You can do it.
So it is more difficult though, even though protein. So protein is not just protein, like beef or a steak.
Beef protein, right? A steak
compared
or a
to
chicken or something like that.
avocado or almonds is a different protein in the body for building.
It is a
muscle.
different protein. You can still build lean muscle with like a pea protein or a soy protein or something like that. You can still do it. I would advise that you find a supplement that you're comfortable taking. Like a shake or something like that, a soy protein or a pea protein or what's the other? They have a hemp protein now that I haven't tried but I've seen. But that's what you're going to need. You're going to have to find that because you're going to have to eat an awful lot of beans to get enough protein.
It's hemp or soy protein.
Here's the thing. If you are willing to take a whey protein or a casein protein or something like that, if you're trying to build lean muscle, that will help you. That will be more beneficial to you. However, if you're strict vegan, if you're strict vegetarian, and that's just not something that you feel like you're comfortable doing, there are other options to be able to achieve your goals.
Okay, great.
Does that help a little bit?
Yes, it's great. I just look at all the gorillas, monkeys, elephants. They don't eat meat. So I'm like, they're muscular.
Exactly.
So I can do it. Yes.
Well, and that again, it goes back to you have to lift the weights. You have to do the weightlifting. So many people are afraid of lifting weights, but you have to do it. And again, you have to not be afraid of bulking up. It's not going to happen. You can't bulk up unless you change your diet.
Yes.
And even then, if I told you, hey, I'm going to try to add 10 pounds of muscle. If I came back in 2 weeks, you wouldn't see that. If I came back in 2 months, you probably wouldn't see that. Adding muscle takes a long time. It's a combination of the workout that you're doing and what you're putting into your body and how you're nourishing it.
Patience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, last question.
Okay.
What do you want your legacy to be?
Oh my gosh, I knew this was coming. Oh boy. You know what? When it's all said and done, I would like to make an impact on the world in the fitness industry because that's my passion. There's a couple things that I'm working on right now. Again, I told you about the workout plan. I've got an iPhone application called Pulse Tread, which is great, and I like it because it's me. It's my personality. it's literally me telling you what to do on the treadmill. So it's what I get to do in class, but on a bigger scale. And what I want to do is, and that wasn't so much a plug for the app as it was leading into what I do in class, I love, but I'm limited in what I can do in class by the people that are in there. I can't reach Singapore and New York and, for whatever reason, Minneapolis and Dallas and everywhere else in Spain just by teaching my class, but I want to. I want to have that impact on people and a broad reach.
Yes.
And so that's where the idea of the app came from, is how can I reach people without actually being in front of them or having them being in front of me? And so that's what I want to do, is find a way to impart the knowledge that I have that I feel like is really good and could really help a lot of people if they're willing to listen and willing to try to take some advice. And again, every diet, every workout, different things are going to work with different people. But I feel like I have the ability to help a lot of people reach their goals if I could get in front of them and work with them. So how can I get that out to as many people as possible? So I guess trying to bring it back into what would my legacy be, I'd like to leave a lasting impression on as many people as I can, and have them know that this guy actually helped me change my life.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
it's true. It's
yeah,
true. You've left a lasting impression on me. And I don't even know if you know this, and the camera's running out of batteries, but I don't even know if you know this, but I had a really bad shoulder and I couldn't work out because of my shoulder. I think I mentioned to you when I came
early
in.
on.
But you cured that, by the way. Just I think it was stuck, and I was being told you need an operation, you need this, you need that, and you said, no, you don't. And I'm like, yeah, another guy saying, no, I don't. But it worked. Whatever you did worked. So.
Well, and the bottom line is, I know you're running out of time, but
Yes.
the bottom line is, I didn't cure it. It's a team. And again, that's about the relationship. You trusted me
Yes.
to work with you.
Yes.
And that's where you got to give yourself the credit, is we work together to do that. So thank you for that, but you also got to give yourself the credit for being willing to listen to another opinion and try something different than maybe what you've heard from other people. So it is a team effort, and that's why the relationship building is so important.
Yeah, so I just appreciate your time and energy to really work on the whole body instead of just I want to be a trainer. It's like you really looked at my body, this is what you need, and it worked. So I'm grateful because I could move and I could, no pain anymore. And I don't even think I ever told you that because life sped up.
Good,
So,
I love it.
Thank you.
I love it, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you
I'm
so much for
happy.
being here. This is
Thank
just
you.
so awesome, this interview. I want to listen to it again and go, wait, let me take notes.
Well, thank you for bringing me
Okay.
along for the
Thank
ride. This
you.
is great, and I love everything that you're doing. I'm so proud of what you've been doing.
Oh,
and so,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And we'll
keep it going.
continue.
Keep it
Yes.
going. It's inspiring. It's inspiring to
I want
me,
to do
and so
something with you.
Let's do it.
Someday, doing some retreat in Spain or someplace.
Let's
So
do it. Let's
we
make
will.
it big. Let's
We
make
will.
it fun. Let's touch as many people as we can.
Oh, you got it.
All right.
Okay.
Game on.
Game on.
Thank you, Lisa.